Okay. All right, this is how we make pizza dough at the Priest household. 1 cup of warm water, salt, some flour. This is really good Italian pizza flour. If you don't have this, then just use regular all-purpose flour. King Arthur is a good brand. Measuring cup for flour, olive oil, pure olive oil. This is yeast in bulk. We're going to do just a package of dry yeast, which in bulk is 2 1/4 teaspoons. Sugar. Okay, so put the water in, add the yeast. Let that marinate for until it comes pretty frothy, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, cut. All right, and yeast is frothy or frosty and ready to put the ingredients in. You ready? Okay, so a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of sugar. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil, just whatever you want. And then you can start adding the flour. The flour is going to be usually about 2 1/2 to 3 cups of flour. Uno, doce, and then I'll do like a half and then mix it up. And use the rest for kneading the dough, cut it. So I'm just mixing the dough together. I'm mixing the flour in the mixture. And what's going to happen is this is all going to come together and start pulling apart from the edges of the bowl to make your dough ball. If it's too wet, just keep adding a little bit of flour at a time. So once it's kind of pulling apart, like this, then you're good to knead it. Cut it. Got it? All right. And you need an apron too because it gets kind of floury. So just dust your surface with some flour and then just dump the dough on the flour. Just get the remaining pieces off with your finger. Okay. And before you start touching the dough with your bare hands, just get some more flour, rub it on your hands, and start pressing it out. What you want to do is press with your left, roll with the right. Press with the left, roll with the right. Like so. Until you feel that it's a little bit wet but not sticky to your hands. Be very delicate with it. You're not going to use all this flour. Like I probably have enough flour right now. And just do this for maybe 20 or 30 strokes. It's not a lot of effort. Just firmly pressing down. Until you get it in a dough ball. So with this dough here, you can stick it back in a bowl at room temperature and let it double in size and work with that dough. If you do that, you're going to have to use a rolling pin because it's hard to stretch it with your hands for making pizza. What I do is get this, stick it in a washed bowl, and just put it in the fridge for 2 or 3 days. And then I'll show you what happens after that. Cut it. So this is the best flour to get. The flour does impact the dough, but honestly, as I was saying, once you put sauce and cheese and all your toppings on there, the dough really doesn't matter, but it makes a slight difference. So if you can use something like this, use it. If not, just make sure that you let your dough ferment in the fridge for at least 3 days, because that's when it becomes really tasty. But you can use this recipe for an immediate flour and pizza making session. So now we're going to put the dough ball in the bowl. Just kind of flour it, throw the flour in, just work it around. So anytime we're picking up the dough ball, we're just going to roll it into our other hand. Be very delicate with it. So we're going to stick it in. And then just kind of dust the top a little bit with flour. Not that much. This is going to double in size when we take it out of the fridge in 3 days. I'm going to split it immediately and then put it in 2 separate dough balls and let them rise again to room temperature and then begin to work with it. See? And just cover it with some press and seal and it'll be good to go. Make sure it's really good sealed, because as it sits in the fridge, some of the edges will harden if there's a lot of air in here.